I'm going to go over how you can quit your 9-to-5 job realistically using an actual real life example, a 48-year-old man with 3 kids, a mortgage, and a wife. And I'm going to show you not only the steps that I personally took because I am that man, and more importantly, all the mistakes and things that I've learned along the way to not only make your process a whole lot faster, but also tell you all the things that I should have done differently to make the process easier, cheaper, and a whole lot smoother. Make sure you stay to the entire video because I'm going to give you all the action plans and things you need to do next, along with what softwares and what things you really need to focus on in order for you to make this happen for you. All right, so stay tuned and build along with us and make sure you stay through the entire video. All right, so I wasn't kidding, and I've been waiting for a very long time to do this video because there's so much market garbage out there of all these people telling you that you're gonna get rich, you're gonna make this much money in this many weeks and days. And I'm gonna be the first one telling you that some of those plans are beautiful, they work, but they require a lot of effort and a lot more time that sometimes is not as realistic to the actual human being as possible. I take a very strong stance as being very careful with understanding that nothing is gonna make you $10,000 overnight. You sometimes have to work for that kind of money, especially when you have other financial responsibilities, especially when you're also starting out, when you have no reputation, you have no reps, you have kind of no understanding of how the business works. Without all of that, you're not going to make all that money really quickly. And if you are, you're maybe 1% out of the entire population that is. So I want to make sure you're understanding that we're making realistic examples here. And the plan that I'm going to give you is exactly what I went through. I'm going to tell you the pitfalls that I went through and understanding that it's very important for you to understand that there is a plan in place and you can make a certain amount of money per month, but the plan is going to vary depending on you and your personal situation. Now, the biggest problem with any of this is that there's 2 big things that happen when anybody watches these videos. Either 1, they take action and they go along and the plan starts, or 2, they do absolutely nothing and just keep thinking about it and staying stuck on wherever they're at. Now, my story, I'm going to share with you. If you look at your screen, you're going to see me on the left-hand side wearing a very cheap suit because I couldn't afford real suits at the time. And that sign, jokingly, I put help me. But at the end of the day, I had a 25-year corporate career. I had a 1-hour commute going back and forth. Sometimes that commute would be 2 to 3 hours, depending on the traffic. I had side hustles that I had to start for another reason I'm going to share with you in about a minute. I had 1 kid at home at the moment in time, now 3. And then more importantly, I was always considering when I was in that 1 hour to 3 to 4 hour commute or in long meetings throughout the day or sitting in a cubicle, kind of staring at a very blank white wall, I got to the point of like, is this all I'm meant for? And I knew inside of me that I really wasn't, and I wasn't living the best life that I know I could. Now, that all being said, let me explain to you another big factor that made my situation very different. I came from an entrepreneurial family, and I came from a failed entrepreneurial family, meaning my father started a bunch of businesses, incredible salesman, probably one of the best salesmen to this day that I've ever met in my life, but just really not great at business. And we saw a lot of failures happen throughout the entire time. Now, my father was incredibly persistent, had a heart of gold, and he just kept going at it. But I promised myself watching that growing up that I would never subject myself to becoming an entrepreneur because I didn't want to have those same failures. Hence why I went so hard in the corporate career. And mind you, my corporate career for 25 years did not start with somebody handing me a job. I literally started as a janitor 25 years ago, working the 11 to 7 shift, meaning 11 p.m. at night to 7 a.m. in the morning. And from there, I kind of worked my way up. I became a service manager for housekeeping. Then from there, I went to become a service manager. And then from there, I became an operations manager, got a bunch of certifications, and then got picked up to go into banking, and then had to start from scratch all over there. So I had to start as an assistant manager and work my way up all the way to a district manager, and then from a district manager to commercial services managers. I worked for corporations like Bank of America and Capital One and other Fortune 100 companies. And I got to tell you, it was not an easy journey. A lot of like ups and downs throughout that entire journey, a lot of learnings, a lot of education, a lot of investment that I put in myself to be the best that I can be in my corporate job. Now, well, why are you here and why did you become an entrepreneur? Well, my entrepreneur journey, believe it or not, started 15 years ago after I promised myself that I would never become an entrepreneur. But everybody's situations becomes very different as life kind of changes. So at one point in time, my dad got sick. He got cancer for his first round. We did not have the money at the time to support him. I was newly married, had an expecting baby coming, and then more importantly, we had just bought a house, my wife and I. Now, that being said, when you're working in a corporate job, you get very limited in how much money you can make. I was maxed out on bonuses. There was nothing extra I can earn. So I had no choice but to get a part-time job. Now, first couple part-time jobs were working for somebody else, doing some other thing, which required me to travel after my 1 hour commute, or sometimes even 2 hours, get to that job and sometimes work all the way until 12 o'clock at night. Now, mind you, really newly married, with the wife expecting, that is not the best family situation you can put yourself in, which led me to start approaching different side hustles and different things to help earn a little bit of cash so I can support my family. And what that led down to is me literally fixing everything from cell phones, computers, wires, running electrical wires, working on plumbing as an assistant. Anything that I can literally do has a little bit of a side hustle cash that allowed me to have a little flexibility on the hours and after hours, right? Well, believe it or not, it was very funny when I had to come in from a full suit from a banking situation to go to, let's say, repair somebody's cell phone inside their home wearing a suit. Now, it became kind of comical and funny, actually got me a couple of jobs and make me very trustworthy going inside, and people kind of joked around about it. Then they kind of just let me do my thing. But that was kind of really putting a strain to me inside the home. Well, we're going to leave that right there because, again, that's what started the entrepreneurial journey. But mind you, right at that point in time, I was struggling even maintaining that. I did that for about 8 months, all over the place like that. And then finally, I got into website building and landed on websites. Websites allowed me to work from home from a small computer. And more importantly, I was enough technically inclined that I can start teaching myself how to do this. And I started literally building one site for free, built another one for free. Then all of a sudden I was building them for a small amount of money at first, then a good amount of money. And then I just became a little bit that I was just doing on the side. All that happened, and I honestly started building websites and running a little small marketing agency that worked its way all up until 6 figures, and that was part-time for about, I'd say, close to like 12 years. 12 years happened, 2022 started becoming a real breaking point where all of a sudden this 6-figure agency that I was running part-time was really, really doing well. And at one point in time, my wife came in. We were now almost on our 3rd child and literally came into me and said, I need my husband and their kids need their father back. Now, it wasn't that I was obsessed with making that extra cash. I did really enjoy having the 2 careers. I really did enjoy doing the things that I was doing part-time plus full-time, but it was taken away from my family life. So it led me to kind of start my own business and do my own thing, right? That being said, I kind of kick-started and kind of where I am today, so you fully understand. I have 2 business earnings in the mid 6 figures, one about approaching $500,000, but the other one is still kind of working its way up there. I have 2 new business ventures. One is a staffing agency that is starting to turn a profit this year already. I'm also operating our new rental property that we were able to purchase with all the money that we saved up doing all these crazy things. I work from home. I have lunch with my wife daily. I pick up my kids and I drop them off. I control my own schedule. And more importantly, I'm just happy with where I'm doing. If I want to go kind of take a break and go see my kids, all I have to do is step out of this office and there I am. Why me and why am I talking to you and how can you shortcut this and make it all about you, right? Well, first and foremost, I want to talk to you about marketing technology in the state that we are right now. First, marketing technology is all about the technology that basically operates anything that has to do with marketing. I honestly believe it's a really good area where you can start up for incredibly low amount of money. You can do it from home, you can do it part-time, and for any working individual that's out there, this is the perfect side gig to do that's going to require a lot less than you going to another physical thing or a physical location. The learning curve can be steady depending on what software, but today the plan that I'm going to put in place with you, I'm going to start from easiest to hardest so you can kind of pick which one you want to go with and then just go all in on one service and kind of work from there. Now, there's a universal demand for marketing technology, period. If you look at the screen right there, you'll see $406 billion industry in 2024 projected to reach $822 billion by 2033. Even with all the advances of AI, it's still a very high in demand business that requires people to go into. Low startup costs compared to physical businesses can be done in early mornings and evenings initially, and then you can work into getting help and initial staff. Now, mind you, when I was running part-time in the 6-figure business, I had 3 employees and a partner that was helping me kind of build that all together. Now, again, you could take a different path, but just understand it's something you can build incredibly easy versus physical businesses. And with AI advancements that have been happening over the last 2-3 years, it just allows you to move a lot faster with a lot less support. And your startup time is a lot less than it would be for a human being like me that had to learn everything from ground up and build everything, right? Now, that being said, today we're going to go over the 5 business models that I think you can do. And I'm going to start with the easiest and work our way all the way up to the hardest and the most profitable, right? Now, review generation. Don't care what anybody says. It's not dead. People still need it because I can tell you, if I literally go on here and let's say I wanted to eat like Thai food today, right? I'll come in here and I go, Thai food near me. I don't know about you, but the second I look at this, what am I looking at? I'm looking at how close it is. Secondly, I'm looking at the star reviews and whether or not, look, 462, 4.3, 258. I'm going to go to this one, has more reviews, has a higher star rating and everything else. If you think that everybody has these actual reviews and doesn't need this, you are sadly mistaken. Everything from plumbers to electricians to anybody that you can think of that is any kind of service is doing some kind of review generation and needs it. This is a quick and easy business to get into. I'm going to break it down for you how to do it, but I want to show you why this is still relevant. And got to be honest, some of these places don't even have websites. I can literally walk through town to a lot of local businesses, and I can tell you at least like 7 of them offhand that don't even have a website that people can go to find out more information, where they're open, who they are, if they have any reviews, and so on, which again, just goes to show you how, even though you think the market is saturated and there's all this stuff going on, it's not. Second is social media management. Social media is not going to go anywhere. If anything, it's getting crazy, right? So you have now TikTok, you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have all these different places, and all of them require management. And believe it or not, people like myself, business owners, we don't have time to do this. Having somebody that I can pay like $30 or $40, $100, $150, $200 a month to manage all that crap for me, honestly, makes my life a whole lot easier. And again, on the ease of things, it makes it super easy for somebody who's a little graphically inclined, and now with the advances of AI, both in images and in text writing, this job becomes incredibly easy. And I'm going to go over some steps and things you can do there too, right? Now we have chatbots. Chatbots are the kind of craze right now, but it's something you could still jump into. It's not too late because again, all I have to do is search a couple websites, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And you're going to notice that they don't have any chatbots or things to engage with. And a lot of these things are easier, and there's so many platforms that you can get these with. And I have a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel that will actually show you how to do that. That makes it a very easy thing to get to, right? AI and SEO ready websites, like websites that actually capture leads and do the right things that are not outdated and inundated, are still a business model that you need to follow. A little bit on the harder on the scale because it requires designing and kind of understanding how a website works and at least having a basic understanding. So the learning curve in that can be a little tougher, but again, still a smart business to get into. And last and not least is creating a SaaS agency or an AI automations agency with HighLevel, which again, is just software that we prefer that allows white labeling, but there's other software and I'll go over some other options for you, but that has the most profit margin and you're kind of like the software owner. So you're the person that owns all of it. Now, let's go ahead and start like really getting into this, like how we do this, right? So the first thing is the revenue generation, right? Super easy. And I'm going to show you kind of like towards the end how I attain clients using this. And it's a very simple method. Now, this is probably the easiest one with the lowest kind of like setup and monthly, because again, you got to be very smart how you approach this. Now, there are tons of software that do this, that basically what you can do one of two things. You can go into software for the person, set it up and manage it for them. Now, there's tons of softwares that do this. Bird's Eye is really well known, HighLevel is really well known, but basically what a lot of these software allows you to do is you basically get the software, you approach businesses that don't have a lot of reviews or have very poor reviews, and you help them generate reviews. Well, how do you help generate reviews? Super simple. One, you get them to ask their customers or email their customers or text message their customers or inside the store itself by creating a QR code, help them generate more reviews and more positive reviews by reading what's not going right and helping them kind of strategize. Now, there's usually a very small setup fee because it doesn't cost a lot to do this. And there's a monthly reoccurring fee for using whatever software it is to kind of keep it up and going. Now, I can tell you that this is by far one of the easiest to implement because all you got to do to find customers is look for people with crappy reviews or no reviews. And two, put them kind of some software that you can manage and charge them a little bit more than what the software is charging you so you can make a little bit of profit on that. Now, let me show you what I mean by that, right? So if you come in here, this is one of our customers, been our customers now going on 11 years. He's been collecting reviews. He started with us and he started at 0. Now, this is the type of business that normally doesn't even have Google reviews. And he managed to collect not 1, but 99 reviews. Now, mind you, that only started about 5 years ago. He was my website client before he was anything else. And then I just sold these services to him afterwards. But I got to tell you, generating this was really easy. And I'll tell you how. Had an existing business, had no reviews. He was trying to get himself out there and he wanted people to show some kind of credibility. No better credibility on the internet right now than a Google review. It's like liquid gold. And what we did is we helped him collect his first few by sending emails to his known customers, who then in turn left Google reviews. And then we kind of made it part of his daily process. And now he's in the software paying a monthly fee to maintain, to answer, to do all these different things. And inside a system, this is HighLevel. What you can do is, it's very easy to do. And I'm going to go right here into my test account. If I want to find customers, first, let's find some customers. Like take, for instance, if I go to Thai near me and I go to more places, I can immediately see this place right here only has 45 reviews. The 4 near competitors right next to them have 3 times as much reviews. So I can literally call this person up or show up at their door, especially if they're very local, and say, hey, I help people generate reviews. I noticed that your other competitors have way more. Let me help you get these reviews set up and let me help you get more. And let me tell you what the plan is going to be. I present them a small Plexi card holder with their QR code. That's how I come right into the business, because even if they don't take my service, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a favor by leaving them a Plexi card with the Google reviews that they can put right on their counter, because 9 times out of 10, they don't have that. Then what I'm going to do is I say, I'm going to check back in 2 to 3 days. And if this thing is generating some reviews with you, I'm going to encourage you to use my software, which not only helps you capture more, but more importantly, gets out messages to your clients that leave you reviews. How does that sound? 9 times out of 10, if I just leave the Plexi and I come back in 2 to 3 days, one, if I'm using my own QR code, and I'm going to show you how to set that up, you will be able to track that and be able to go back and say, hey, I noticed that this link got this many clicks. I think you should really do this thing. And now it becomes a very easy thing for you to sell. You could also say, hey, let us run a contest, and anybody that leaves your reviews, have them fill out their name and their phone number, or more importantly, their email. And what we'll do is we're going to put them in a contest where they win a free dinner in this case, right? Sometimes it will be a free service if it's like a dentist, like a package, like a dental package, or a free electric toothbrush, whatever it is, to help run contests to get you up and going so you can go ahead and get this business for them and the reviews for them, right? So all you do is you find the business. Softwares like HighLevel, which is what I have here. It's a preferred software that I use just because I can create unlimited accounts at the $297 plan. And that allows me to put people under me so I can give them their own sub account. So not only they can come in here and get a review widget like you see here, they can also manage all the reviews right in here, and they can have an automatic reply with AI for every review that somebody leaves behind. On top of that, I can also manage any requests that I want to send to anybody directly here. All I have to do is a very minimal setup, and I can immediately have a process around it. It also collects emails and phone numbers and names. So now I have a database for the client that can have a database of all their clients. A pretty good offer. Now, I pay $297, let's say to HighLevel. There's other software like I mentioned before, like Bird's Eye. You would have to figure out that one. But this one's the easiest example because it's the easiest to use. So at $297, I can get a limited accounts. I can create an account for them, charge them, let's say $30 per their sub account, their little account that manages all this, and $150 setup fee. Now, even though that doesn't cover the $297, my game that I play now is I need to work up to as many accounts, like 6, 7, 8 accounts, so I can start turning a profit. But again, I'm working a 9 to 5. I should have at least $297 over. Or you could start off with the $97 plan, and it gives you 3 free sub accounts, and you can use those 3 sub accounts and charge a little bit more, like $40 a month. And now after the 3rd sub account, you're already profitable. You can move to the next plan. So there's a lot of different strategies you can use here. You can even tell them to get their own account, set it up for them, charge them a setup fee, and use your affiliate link to get your own sub account based on that. So meaning there is so many different ways to approach this business. And again, earlier on, what I've learned was I was going after the really hard thing, and it took me such a long time to learn it that I wasn't making money and I wasn't moving as fast enough. The goal of what you need to do is make money as soon as humanly possible and start selling as fast as possible, because the more you sell, the fulfillment part becomes easy afterwards, as long as you're not overselling things you don't really understand. And this one is super easy. Think about it like this. Very little reviews, find your clients by literally doing this. Come in here, you either get a 97, you get 3 free sub accounts with it, and set up a sub account for each one of them. Charge them 30, 90, 40, 60, whatever you want to charge. And then set up their account, help them collect their first reviews, create that Plexi, because here you can also go to sites. And if I wanted to create a QR code, I go to QR codes. And look, I can create any QR code that I want for Google reviews. Just like you see here, I copy this, I download it, I put it into a nice little plexiglass frame that cost me about 30 cents on Amazon. I put that in there and I leave it at the store. And then what I do is I go to the next store and the next store and the next store. And I literally walk in with the same offer. Hey, I want to help you get reviews. I have a program that does all this for you. I'm going to leave this free plexiglass. There's no catch. I'm going to come back in 3 to 4 days. If it helped you generate any reviews, I'll be able to see it. And then what I can do is I can help you get even more. So if it's something you're interested, all I got to do is live this and I'll be back in 2 to 3 days. And what's cool about this is I can see all the statistics that this thing is doing by going to analytics. And I can see the QR scans over the last several months, years, days, whatever it is. And I can totally see. And if I see that it's getting a lot of QR scans, I can immediately come in there and it's a very easy close. You have 29 clicks. Let me show you what that means. That means that you almost had 29 new reviews. Let's see if that's actual. Let me help you collect even more. Let's run a contest. Let me help you run the contest. $150 to set up, and the rest is $30 a month to kind of keep that business going and keep this QR code and everything else. And I'm even going to give you a little tiny widget that you can put directly inside your website. How does that sound? And that widget, by the way, is super cool. It's that square thing you just saw right at the beginning, and it's very easy for people to do, right? So that's like your entry point. $150 to set up, $30 monthly. You can get a HighLevel account. You can get another review management software and go out there and try to do something with that. As long as, again, you're looking at monthly recurring revenue and a setup fee. Real easy after that. Again, your competitors outranking, poor rankings that need improvement, local business and competitive niches, anything that you can do there. Now, the second one is social media management. This is kind of self-explanatory, same kind of deal, right? If I go, let's say, to Facebook, all right, let's kind of go to the same, let's see if we even find a page. If we don't find a page, it's already a win, because now I can actually help them set up a page. If I come in here and I do a search, it possibly is not going to come up. It does. Look, beautiful. It looks like somebody's already trying to do it. Let's just see if I come in here, 5 followers. Not really a good line presence. They have maybe 1 or 2 videos tops and nothing really else going on in here. They don't even have a banner image. Again, massive improvement here. Setting up a banner image, I'm going to show you how easy that is. I'm going to show you that setting up a Facebook business page nowadays is one of the easiest things you can possibly do. And with tools like Canva, I'll introduce you to that. And there's like a free account version of this and a paid. And honestly, I get the paid because the paid now has AI, and you can even come over here and say, with AI, create me a Facebook banner for this company. All right, let's see what it comes up with. Look, literally AI came up with this. I click on that and I can come in here and I can use a Canva editor, and I'm gonna be able to come in here and change this up. Look, it looks so freaking cool. All I gotta do is throw the name in there, and literally it's as simple as coming in here, double clicking on it, put in the name, get rid of this. And guys, I'm just literally doing this super fast. So we're not wasting time in understanding that this is a hard reality. This is very easy for you all to do. Look, I just move it. Now I got myself a banner. I can create some Instagram images. I can do all different kinds of things in here. And I did it all by writing a word, I didn't even try hard. And all I got to do is set this up, come in here and do all of this. Now, a lot of the managers right now for social media, you got things like Canva that you can create all these different images and graphics. They just came out with AI that's super powerful that allow you to create bulk items for a particular business that you have. Now, again, this is not a lesson on how to do that. Just know that it's available for you. You could start messing around with this. Now, again, you're going to need some kind of platform out there. There's Social Bee, there's Planner, there's HighLevel again. And again, the reason I keep going back to HighLevel is the one and only that has all these things all at once. And again, if I'm trying to keep my startup costs low, I rather pay like $297 or $97, depending again, the plan that you get, to allow me to do this on several different accounts. And being able to have unlimited accounts is probably the best bonus, because I can keep my startup cost very low and keep building while I'm starting to turn a profit. Now, this also has social media management, and the way to do social media management, you go in there and you would create pricing based on how many things you're going to manage. 3 channel, $97 a month, 6 channels, $297 a month. Now you have LinkedIn, you have Facebook, you have X or TikTok. There's a lot of them that you can do in here. And what's great about this is if you come in here and you go to our marketing, inside of marketing right here, you have a social planner. And the social planner, you're able to come in here and basically create a new post. And if you want to connect, you can connect all these different things that are in here. Google Business Profile, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Pinterest, all very, very good for you to do. And basically what's really nice is you can go in there and you can build, let's say, the next year's worth of social media for them all in one shot. So again, all you can do part-time, you can schedule when the posts are going to arrive. So the management of this becomes a very part-time, either early in the morning or late at night, that you can do while working a full-time job. Very out of all these, again, between the review generation, the only thing that you're really required to kind of have here is a little bit of graphic sense and just understanding a little bit of marketing. But if you wanted to understand marketing, you would also probably go to a ChatGPT, which you're probably using now for work at this point. And you come in here and you would say, create 5, well, let's just say even 10 Instagram posts for boom. and let it do its thing. Boom, there it is. It's automatically going to come in here and it's doing all of this. It would even tell you what images to put on there. You take the image idea, again, go back to your Canva AI that we saw before. Guys, again, I'm telling you how easy this is nowadays. I know this sounds like I'm not making this up. This is something I would literally do. I would come in here and go back into our Canva AI here now and go Instagram post for, and I'll take this whole thing. All right, we'll give it a few minutes to let the AI do its thing. Look at this, pretty cool. What's your slurp level? Like, this is so cool. Like, here you go, and you can make it a video in the background. There's a bunch of cool things you can do. But again, it just did it on its own. And all I did was copy and paste some things. And believe it or not, some people will struggle this because the business owner does not have time. They're running this noodle shop somewhere, and it's going to become very difficult for them to do that. They need somebody that is a little technically inclined that can do all this for them. And again, there is a demand because people do not have the time to do this. And now you're seeing how easy it is for you to set this up. Imagine having like 6 or 7 clients that you can manage early in the morning or late in the evening that allows you to do this part-time and really build your business up. Now, these are all like kind of starter, very easy to do. And again, you take this thing, you would have a place in here where you would just put in a new post. You would download the new image, right? The image that we have. You would take your caption in here, copy this, come in here, paste it, add the image that we just talked about. Or you could use AI. I mean, there's even AI in here. And we're going to go Instagram, whatever it is. And boom, this would rock and roll. And you would post it and you would schedule these. You would do about like 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever the package that they paid for really early on. And this thing will constantly keep going. And you can go back to your 9 to 5, not even have to worry about it ever again. All right, until you're up for the next one. And the more channels you manage, the more money you can pay. How cool is that, right? So industry-specific content libraries and AI content generation that you can leverage. But again, super easy for you to do, right? Scheduling, analytics, and content creation is all you got to provide for the client. And softwares like HighLevel already do it for you. Again, making it a super easy business model to get into. Now remember, these are getting harder as we go through. The next business model is going to be chatbots. Now chatbots, you have 2 different variations. You have a basic Q&A and you have an advanced booking bot, one that's actually going to book appointments for the customers. Now, they will only work with certain types of businesses, but it's important for you to understand which ones, right? For setting something up like a restaurant, that's going to be a little bit on the harder side. I wouldn't recommend that. But if you were setting up one, let's say a spa, and you wanted to create a bot that's going to answer general questions, I would recommend you setting one of those up because those are super easy. If you wanted to create one that's setting up appointments, let's say for a contractor or HVAC or any kind of thing that requires kind of servicing and anything that's basically going to get somebody to come in, you can do an advanced booking bot. Now, there are tons, and I mean tons of softwares that do this right now. There is Zapier that has agents and it has chatbots. There is NAN that has that. There is HighLevel. There is Retail. There is so many different systems. You kind of just got to pick one that makes the most sense and go in it. Now, again, not because I favor it, just because to keep it simple, HighLevel also has chatbots that you can leverage and use. So for creating a simple Q&A bot, you would come into the software, you would come over here to settings, you would go to conversational AI, you would come in here and you would, let's say, go to Kate, the live AI chatbot. And Kate here is on autopilot. She answers basic questions. And all you have to do is basically come in here, do some initial settings, take the bot training, put in the actual website so it gets the data from the entire website so it has that knowledge base, create a couple test scenarios where you're actually interacting with the bot when I say, hey there, hey, I'm Kate, the appointment booking bot for Blissful Basics. How can I help you book your appointment today? And I could say, like to see what services you have, okay? And as I interact with it, I can correct it. I could say, great job, bad job, and it's asking me for my name and an email. Now, if you want videos on how to see this live and how to set them up, I have tons of videos on my YouTube channel, so make sure you go back and see them. But again, another methodology you can do there. But you train the bot, you give it some goals by creating what's called a prompt, making sure that prompt works exactly the way you need it to. Now, when that's all said and done, you come into sites here and you build your bot. You can create a chat widget. And as you can see, I got BB the live chat widget. You set up the style of the way you want it. You create a little chat window like you see here on the right-hand side where it's going to answer based on the questions that it's provided. Then you're going to collect all the messaging standards you see right here, acknowledge the language and everything else. When you're done, you get the code. You take this code, you copy it, and you go back to, let's say, the website. And now it could be a website on WordPress. It could be a website on Squarespace. Anywhere that the customer has a website, you give them that code. You tell them to go to their internet, like the website guy, and be like, hey, do me a favor. I need you to put this code. And you would put this code pretty much on the header of the page you want it in, just like so, and you drop it in there, and then it's a live chat bot that will automatically start reporting into the system. Now, you could charge a good amount now because you're setting up this entire bot, which does take anywhere from like 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the type of bot that it is. You paste the code, or if you're using HighLevel and you built the site inside of HighLevel, it automatically has the ability of bringing the chatbot in. If not, you're going to give them the code that we just did. And now, anytime a person has a conversation with the bot or is a new lead in the bot, they automatically come into the system and it makes the job incredibly easy. Don't know about you, but charging $500 for a setup, and I think charging anywhere from 30 to 47, closer to the 47, I think people would be willing to pay that, especially if they see like a demo site or the bot in action to make it a little bit easier. And sometimes, honestly, what I'll do is I'll make like a very fake, very easy mock-up site, and I'll actually put the bot answering their questions for customers to check out while they're, if they just want to kind of experience the bot on a page. And all I have to do is literally grab all the information from their site and put it on there. And now I have a simple Q&A bot. Now the booking bot, I would say, is a little bit more advanced. Same thing with the voice bots. Those require a little bit more technical know-how. But again, if you're going to go all in on bots, you would first learn the simple Q&A bot, sell a couple of those, then immediately start moving into the more advanced bots that can do more advanced things. And those take a little bit more of a setup and you can charge a lot more monthly for. Now, again, if you're paying, let's say $297 a month for HighLevel and you need to start earning, your bots are probably going to be closer to $127, and then the voice bots are going to be closer to like $197 a month, and this will be kind of like $127 a month, because HighLevel does charge you at least $97 for the unlimited bots. And that's what you would want to do. So again, different things, different pricing. If you want to understand how all that works, just use one of the other videos, because again, I just want to make sure you what's possible and how much money you can make from these things to make it super easy, right? Now, as we kind of go through, right, we talked about it, a prompt, the booking integration if needed, voice integration, we talked about that. And we talk about different software options that are out there. And also, don't discount ZappyChat for the Q&A and the booking bot, but through text. I have a video also on the channel for that. Just look up ZappyChat and you'll see it. So you make your choice on the software that you feel is going to be best for you. But again, I always tend to lean to HighLevel just because it gives me more for what the money is. And honestly, if I'm just starting out, I don't want to look at like 17 different softwares. I'd rather go into one and make it a little bit easier, especially if I'm going to be selling it to clients, right? Now, the next one is the AI and SEO websites. Now, I got to tell you, websites are good. The only thing with websites, especially when you're starting out, there's a lot of back and forth when it comes to building a websites. I would honestly build the first couple ones for free, get really used to it, and make sure that you like doing it before you get into this business. Because when you get into this, if you really don't have a strong backing and understanding of like design and general concepts to kind of understand how all this works, you're just going to be spending a lot of back and forth with the customers. And sometimes it's a lot more of a time waster than it is a money maker. So you can get into this and there is a lot of money to be made. Now I charge anywhere north of $3,000 to $5,000 for websites, because I don't just build a website. I build what I call like websites that have AI, that have SEO. And I want to make sure, like if I hit home, right, and I come in here, like this is the kind of websites we make, websites that you can communicate with the customer, that can generate leads, that can book appointments, that have SEO, that have everything that they need to make the account stand out. Now, this is something you can grow into, because that's kind of what I did. If I told you about my journey early on, remember, I kind of went that journey because like it just became a desperation mode, because I was trying to help out my dad and all that story that I had before. And I just had to learn this at a very high level. So just understand that this is going to be something you want to work into, because that is going to be a little bit more challenging as time goes on. But as you can see, it becomes incredibly lucrative as you build these things out, because what's going to happen is the more and more of these you build, the more templates you're going to have, the easier the process is going to be. But if you are starting out, HighLevel and some other softwares out there like WordPress, I mean, I can name a gazillion of them. Again, here in HighLevel, because I can do all those other things and then offer websites, is a little bit easier. And they come with over I think over close to 300 templates you can use. Plus, there are people selling templates all over the place for HighLevel that you can basically download, make your own, and start the business that way. Now, again, there is some back and forth that people want to customize logos, colors, and all that you're going to have to deal with. But again, it can be incredibly lucrative as you get better and better. Now, again, setup can be anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000, depending on your reputability and how good your sites are. And you could charge $97 a month for the CRM, and making sure that they understand that the website is just not building a website. You need to collect the leads. The leads need to go somewhere. And then more importantly, you're going to have a way to like manage and interact with the leads. And oh, by the way, this software also does all these other things. And you can charge for all those other things on top of building the website. Now, HighLevel, believe it or not, also came with an SEO where it's going to be a part of Search Atlas. And for an additional $97 a month per sub account, you can have up to 3 websites that they'll do SEO for you in a very easy and AI automated way. So you would charge $197 for that. They charge you $97, meaning HighLevel. You charge the customer $197, and now the customer has SEO like forever until they decide not to pay, right? So this becomes the 4th model that you have in there. Now, things like being able to call on the number, having strong titles to make sure that they're keyword rich, things that people are actually searching for, having a way of generating leads, and more importantly, booking appointments if they're a service-based business becomes an incredibly powerful thing to offer inside of like kind of your marketing technology bundle that you're going to have, right? And this is one of them. Template-based, right? So efficient development, meaning you're going to give people templates and work based off of the templates because the templates are going to have all the things you need it to have. You're going to have these AI chat assistants that are going to make it super easy, SEO optimization, built-in booking capabilities, meaning people can book appointments, places where people can click numbers and automatically call, review collections, and then mobile responsiveness that has it. Now, how do you find websites? The same exact way. I will literally come in here and look for different things. Now, if you wanted to go in here, then some of these might have pretty established. I wouldn't necessarily start in the restaurant kind of niche. I would probably start in different niches, but then again, I could be wrong. This could definitely use a lot of love. Like this is definitely a little tough. I would probably do a lot more with this. So again, you have some idea here and this is definitely not the greatest website I've ever seen in my life. So there you go. That's how you search for them. You just literally look at the website. And my starting question whenever I was selling websites was literally going up to a business owner and just saying, hey, are you happy with your current website? That's how I started the conversation. I had left it there. 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. And I'd be like, great, here you go. And I got to be honest, sometimes to get business, what I would do is I would design the homepage for free, meaning I would just send it to them and go, hey, I took your homepage, I redesigned it. Let me know if you're interested and you want to buy it. Out of every 10 customers that I sent that to, 3 responded, which ended up landing me like $1,000 to $2,000 job. So again, it was worth the effort. Plus it gave me a lot of practice in design and making it better. So another way for you to go about doing this. All right. So kind of moving on, right? So next is SaaS agency and go high level. Now, by far the hardest, because there's a lot to learn in the spectrum. And this is something I would tell you to build up to, not get off right off the bat, because there's a lot of things you have to understand here. Marketing, the CRM entirely, understanding how CRMs work. And there's an entirely different setup and coaching that goes along with this. It's very important for you to understand this. Now, if you kind of follow the way I've been teaching you is, you can kind of build up to this by doing the review generation first, the social media management directly after, starting to build a couple chatbots and AI stuff all together there, moving into websites. And then I would start taking this into the SaaS, because then you'll have a basic customers you can sell your SaaS to, which by the way, they're probably in already. So it's going to make it a little bit of an easier sell because you're just basically like kind of evolving to this. So I would do this when you're ready for it. And when you have a good basic customers, this was one of the toughest lessons I learned is I started this way too early on in the game, messed it all up in all kinds of different ways. And I should have been learning from the small, working my way up to the large, and that would have made the situation a little bit better. By this point in time, you shouldn't have to because they're already your customers. And if you're finding them for websites, you're finding them for reputation management, you're finding them for social media management, they're in your software already because you're pitching the same software. This is why Go High Level gives you that option. Now, there's other white labels you can go out there and find. Just understand they might not be as robust and they might require a different selling strategy, but this is kind of another approach and something you can grow into, and why it's one of the hardest because there's so much to learn about the CRM in general, because you can't really be in a CRM. You don't know how to physically operate, right? And definitely on a part-time basis, this becomes a little bit hard to do that, especially if you're not technically inclined and you have very little experience in it. Now, last and not least, we have my daily schedule, the actual schedule I followed when working part-time and also having a 9-to-5 job. I wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. This is no joke. I did this, still doing it until this day, but did it very hardcore for that 15 years where I wake up at 5 in the morning. I had exercise for about 30 to 45 minutes. From exercise, I immediately start working on the business. I would be creating assets, lead magnets, reaching out by email. You obviously can't call anybody during that time, finishing up project, working on projects. And then right after that, I would go into the hour to hour and a half commute. Now, during that commute, I also didn't waste any time. I listened to a lot of self-help books because honestly, in a lot of business books, you're going to need as much help mentally as possible to get you through this, because being able to work a 9-to-5 job plus having a side hustle that's becoming lucrative requires a lot of understanding of your emotions and everything else, because there's going to be a lot of moments you're going to wake up and not want to do any of this. And you're going to need as much help and refortification as possible. And I got to be honest, I listened to 150 books in 1 year because that's how long my commute was. And that's how focused I was into ensuring, because it took that time, 1 hour, to learn something while I was driving in. So there was no time that I was wasting to really kind of get to my end goal. Now, 8:30 to 12 p.m., right? Obviously work primary job. I stayed laser focused on that job, letting nothing from my outside job or my side hustle kind of interfere in, so I could stay focused and keep earning money and keep getting promoted and so forth and so on. I took the hour-long break. I'd step out of the office and I usually would make cold calls, call potential customers or clients that were coming in for my lead magnets or that I found in Facebook groups. And I'm going to go over some strategies on that in about a minute. I would have my primary job in the afternoon. And then in my follow-up call at home, 9 times out of 10, I was calling customers that I was either my customers already, cold calling again. So literally dialing it. And it was a cool feature back then. I had an auto dialer. So all I would have to hit is start on the phone. And I did it all from my car phone, right? So Bluetooth all the way. And I literally hit start and that thing would dial one number after another. Now, believe it or not, HighLevel has the same ability now. So you could do the same kind of manual dialer in there and it would just call one number after the other. And as you would answer, it was just a great process I had, and I had it kind of down packed. So I was doing cold calling in the car, stuck in traffic. Sometimes it was unmovable traffic for 2 hours, but I was getting something accomplished. The second I get home, I turned into dad or husband, and I literally stayed focused until 9 o'clock at night, ate dinner, played with the kids, made sure that the kids were fed, everything was going on. And then at 9 o'clock, I went right back at it and I went all the way until 11. And every now and again would take breaks and just make sure my wife is okay and everything else. Now, did I do that perfectly? Absolutely not. The amount of trial and error on this thing was monstrous. I literally failed miserably in every single aspect of this thing at some point in time. And there came points in times where things came to heads. Customers' websites crashed, things got out of hand. Customers started finding me that I was at work. It was really different situations kept happening, but I just dealt with it and moved on. And I stayed consistent to understanding that this was kind of the work model that I had. And I started adjusting things one, making sure that I'm calling from a business number on another cell phone and not my work phone. And there was a bunch of other things and strategies that I kind of put together. Now, for people that are night owls, just work until 1 or 2 in the morning and get up super late or right when you need to get to work. For people that are early risers, this schedule works for you. It worked for me. And if you want to stop it at night and just wake up an hour early at 4, by all means, do you and how you do it. You got no kids? Awesome. Then use that 6 to 9 and then go to bed at 9. So keep highly focused while you're doing this. And again, bust your ass while you need to do all of this. So then you have to work less as you kind of go through. Now, that being said, those 10 books that I kind of listened to, just take a screenshot. We'll also provide this later on in the description. But these are the 10 books that honestly changed the way that I looked at everything. Alex Hormozi is new, but it's a book I recommend for anybody that's kind of starting out, because you really do need an offer in order to go out there. And again, this is not the strategy on how to make an offer and everything else. This is kind of like the roadmap that you need in order to really build this business. But these are the books, honestly, that kind of really helped me kind of get out of my own head and just kind of go out there. And there's 2 other books in here. I have Extra Secrets from Russell Brunson, but I also recommend reading .com Secrets because it's going to give you some other strategies in there. They were all these books are read. I read multiple times. If you ever look at the ones I have, they have highlighters, written notes. These are things I obsessed about. These are also the books that I listen to consistently, sometimes on repeat in the car, to kind of really get it through my head of how to make this work. So a lot of these are going to help you along that journey, and they're also going to keep you sane, which again, the majority of what's happening in this whole thing is making sure that you understand that you have to stay laser focused in what you want to do in order to grow at this level. Now, that being said, this is the 6 to 9 month growth plan. And again, this is all going to vary on one huge factor. You understand that you can do this in 3 months. You can do this in a year. You can do this in 2 years. Again, it all is depending on you and whether or not, 1, you can offer, 2, you're actually selling, not just building, because you get in the mistake of just building these cool things and nobody knows about them and you're not selling to anybody. It's kind of not going to work for you whatsoever. And you're never going to get out of your corporate 9 to 5 because you're so stuck in that you need all these extra things. You honestly don't. You need to have your one service that you're selling to your one customer, and you're going to have one consistent practice that you're going to follow along. So you just got to understand, you got to go out there and try to get clients. Now, for the first initial clients, waive all setup fees. Get your reps in, just your actual doing of the work in, find out, make all the mistakes, don't charge them a thing for setup. Just charge them for the actual software fees and add like $10 to $20 so you're making a little bit of profit when you're first starting out. Because what you got to do is you got to establish your baseline and making sure that this stuff is going to work and making sure you actually enjoy the thing you're doing before you move on to the next one. Now, that's going to take you 1 to 2 months just to get those 2 free clients. Believe it or not, free clients are hard to come by too. You got to go out there and you got to put yourself out there. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second, but that's kind of how you want to do it. Now, month 2, you should be really pushing to get those paying clients. And now, because you've already took 1 to 3 clients for free and you got to figure out the whole setup process and you're getting the monthly recurring, now you want to start moving into paid setup fees. You're going to focus on getting just 2 additional clients, maybe 3, and that might be 2 to 3 months for you, not just 1. And you're just going to work up on getting monthly recurring revenue. The number 1 mistake that I made really early on in my website career or my marketing agency career was not looking to recurring revenue. If I had recurring revenue right from the get-go, I would have made a lot more money and I would have been a lot more stable early on, because then I would have been collecting a monthly income that would have sustained a lot of things as I kind of learned and progressed forward. Not having a monthly income made me rely on getting new customers every single month in order for me to make money. Get out of that really early on, because what I showed you today is I showed you a way of all recurring revenue. So at least you have recurring income. So you could start getting a set amount of money you're getting every month and letting that money grow month over month. That's going to get you in a better place so it can feel like a salary coming in versus, oh my God, where am I going to get my next client from? So again, very big lesson that took me a very long time to learn that I'm helping you kind of like slash right at the beginning to help this even better, right? Now, again, the timelines are here. I'm not going to go through each single one, but in this potential, it could take 6 months. It could take a year. You can get up anywhere from $13,000 a month to $26,000 a month. And honestly, those are my exact numbers. In my first year, I did about 30 grand a month. And now we're doing probably close to like 60, 80 grand, depending on the month, depending on the sales, depending on how much more reoccurring revenue I gotten. But I got to be honest, I have had some $150,000 months and some $200,000 months just on revenue alone. And take home was about maybe, let's say 30, 40 grand. Don't know about you, but my corporate job was never going to pay me that at any point in time soon. So that's something for you to consider as you go through. But did that happen like 3 months of the business? Nope. It took a year. It took 2 years. It took 3 years. It took 5 years. It's going to take you as long as it's going to take you based on your personal situation and how much drive and how bad you really want this. Because again, at the end of the day, when you get into entrepreneurship, there's really one person to blame when things don't work, and that's you. And you just got to make sure that you're fully getting that as you're seeing yourself go through this entire process, right? And it is a process and a very big learning education. I'm just hoping that this helps streamline some of that and cuts it in half. So let's talk about client acquisition models, right? Like, how are you actually going to get your first client? Now, when I first started, we didn't have a lot of social media. Again, if I was to do something differently now, it would be this one thing. The second you're ready to start and you're ready to take on your first trial client, I would definitely make a post to your friends and family, to everybody on social media that you know, and say, big announcement, starting a new business, looking for my first few clients, absolutely no charge. I'll help you build a website, manage your social media. I'll work for the 3 months free. And if you like my work, then you can go ahead and pay. If not, it'll just be a great training experience for me. Anybody willing to give me a try, please contact me below. Or if you know of anybody, please give them my number. That's it. Just post it out there. Biggest mistake I made when I was first starting is not letting anybody know that this was happening. Now, mind you, in my corporate kind of company that I was working in, you had to get permission to actually start up a side business and have a part-time job. And I did do that. I did follow the proper methods. I did go out and ask permission, and then I made the announcement, but I waited a very long time to do that, which was a big mistake. Luckily for me, when I was first starting out, I did such a good job on my first couple of clients that they started referring me business from other family members and other people. But again, know that if people don't know you're doing it, they're not going to refer anybody. But if you're working in a corporate area that requires you to get permission, just get permission. Hey, I need a little side income. Me and my wife are trying to sign up. It's not going to interfere. It's something that I'm doing completely from home on the side. If your business, let's say, is banking and you're starting a website marketing business, there's no conflict of interest, because 9 times out of 10, the companies don't want a conflict of interest to be, and you can't ever sell anything to your existing clients. Just play by the rules. I did it. You can't tell me that, oh, big problems. Look, I worked in the financial industry. Talk about having a lot of red flags and a lot of red tape that you can't cross. I managed to do that for close to 10 years and never had one problem. Never had the businesses interfere. If anything, it was like weird wacko clients that once in a while got a hold of me somehow inside the business. But even that, I was completely controlled. I immediately told them, hey, please don't do this, and then went from there. So understand that that's kind of like the methodology and what you have to do. So just keep that in mind as you see through, right? The second is, if you have time, and again, this is you have time, and you could join both Facebook groups and local groups. What I started doing is there was a BNI chapter that was located inside my town. I joined it. I became not the marketing guy. I became the review guy because at the point in time I was setting up Google My Business accounts and I was helping people generate reviews. This is way before HighLevel made it super easy. I was doing this like, building these things out and then just like helping people like create emails and then sending out to their current customers and all this. This is again, way before any of this stuff was super easy that is now. And I joined my BNI group and I was like the review guy. So I was helping people join and get reviews. Believe it or not, got like 30 something clients from that just alone. And then that turned into building websites for them and a whole bunch of other business. The second thing is I joined like coaching groups and other groups inside of Facebook and just always offering advice, never really asking for business in this group, sometimes making videos and showing people how I did things. And 9 times out of 10, that always generated me some business. Post in the groups to say, hey, really quickly, guys, I do this for a living. There's some things and tips that I want to share with you guys. When building a website, think of this, this, and this. When creating a chatbot, think this and this. If you guys want to see like how a real chatbot is, then check out this video. If you guys want to really see a demo for this, check out this demo. Never pitching the services. Believe me, if people want the service, they will find you. And that's how I've always done it. Like for instance, my YouTube channel brings me more business than anything else because I'm sharing the information and knowledge, but because people sometimes don't want to act, they want for you to do it for them. And there's no better way to do it than showcasing it, right? So join the groups, offer free consultations, no strings attached, really genuinely mean that. And then just give people help and support. And again, you have a full-time income. So this side income, you have time to let it develop and grow. So you can offer a few free additional services just to kind of get your foot in the door. But always remember, when you're offering a free service, make sure that there's an endpoint, because that's the other mistake I did. I offer a free service and that free service continued forever. And I had to always go back and kind of say, hey, free services are over. This is kind of where we're at now. And then that kind of led me to like having more of a paid business. So again, another super mistake that I make that I don't want you to make. Offer free services for say for 3 months and it ends on this date, or for a website and nothing else, so just make sure people understand that as they kind of go through this kind of business model and you're acquiring the new customers, right? Now, that being said, client acquisition method, this is kind of one that's near and dear to my heart. This is how I kind of broke in, and I kind of give you a little bit of a glimpse. So I got a Plexi card holder, and what I did is I went out and I got you can order them on Amazon. They're small, they're plastic and inlined, and what you do is you create the actual QR code with the Google review link. And what you'll do is you put that Google QR code directly inside this plexiglass, put the logo of the customer right up on top, try to hit up a strip of businesses and literally walk into the stores and say, hey, I want to help you collect reviews for your business. This is what I do. I notice you don't have a QR code right on your cash register. And I got to be honest, I guarantee if you just put this here, people will get it. People look at me like, why would you give this to me? Well, one, I'm giving this to you because I want to make sure you're a local business. I'm a local guy. I want to make sure you're doing well. And if this works, I'm going to give you 5 to 7 days. If I see people are clicking this or people are clicking this and you're getting reviews, I'm going to come back. And if this is working, I'm going to give you access to my other system that's going to help you even get more reviews and actually even answer the reviews and give you a widget that you can put on your site. Now, this is a quick, easy entry, right foot in the door. It'll cost you out of 30 cents and generating a QR code, which is going to be a little bit of time. But again, talk about a foot in the door, super easy. You grab a bunch of these, plan on hitting a strip in a weekend, and you can literally hit 20 stores in probably 30 minutes. Quick little spiel, practice it a couple times in front of the mirror and literally go in there. No pressure. Follow up with a service of $30 a month. Then follow up with a chatbot, follow up with the review management, the social media management, and give them a list of your services. Create a little kind of cue card. It'll cost you maybe $30 at Staples. Use Canva to design this card with the logo on it. And if you don't have a logo, don't put a logo on it. Just put your name and what your services are and that's it. And hand this to the client when you're there. Makes it super easy entry point. I paid a kid $100 and he did it for me. And he literally dropped off a little envelope with the QR code reader and just gave it to the client. And then I just showed up the week later and just basically started having conversations with the customer. These are ones that I've physically used. And understand that you want to have a daily action plan when you're first starting out. Understand that the reality of this is it's all depending on how well you sell and how quickly you can get yourself out there to sell these services. First is understand that you want to limit what you do, but there's always got to be some kind of outreach method for you to collect sales. If you go into this blindly thinking that sales are going to come to you, you are going to fail at step one. The goal is that you have some kind of offer. And again, Alex Hormozi's book on offers is amazing. But again, there's plenty of offers out there. Mimic whoever the big people are doing and just do it at a very smaller fashion and suit it to you. If you're doing social media management, come up with an offer for social media management and go out there and start offering it. Cold emails, meaning emailing businesses that you don't know. You do about 20 a day. You can use your regular Gmail account in order to do so. Social media engagement in business groups, literally go to a couple business groups in the local area and just start engaging engaging in people's questions, reporting things, sharing tips. Do not ask for business. Let the business come to you. Content creation for your own channels. Yes, you have to have social media management. Think of Instagram and Facebook, TikTok. Do video, do non-video, but no matter what, start working into the context. But I'll tell you this right off the bat, just posting crap is not going to get you anything. You have to post things that people are actually going to click on. LinkedIn is also a really good source, but if you're working corporate, 9 times out of 10, corporate's all over that. So sometimes you're going to have to use other channels. I recommend your personal channels in order to do that, or start a new LinkedIn channel with the professional email address so that can be strictly for your new business. Follow up with warm leads. Anybody that's calling you, remember I told you the call times that I did. I either did it at lunchtime or I did it on the commute home. Service delivery for existing clients. This is basically as needed, right? I did my projects late at night or early in the morning to deliver to the clients at a particular time, whatever those things are. Use software like HighLevel to kind of pre-plan and do these things in templates to make your work a little bit faster and also in an organized way. And give yourself about 30 minutes to learn something new every day, whether it's the audiobooks on the way to work or it's taking 30 minutes out of your day to learn something. And 9 times out of 10, believe it or not, some corporations offer these things to earn and learn the things you need to run your own business through their own programs. So make sure to take advantage of that if they have it. Ours offered Udemy, which was a great learning platform, and it had all these courses that were all about marketing. So guess what I did, which again, sometimes it gave me learning time. And again, depends on the corporation you're in. And I would learn about things that I needed for a job, but I also learned about things that I needed for my other skill set. Again, things you can do while you're at work, right? Now, the goal is in the client conversions, and the way you really got to think about this. In order for you to attend one new client and you're doing any kind of cold calling, it's going to be anywhere to 100 to 150 calls, and it all depends on whether they answer and how good you sell over the phone. 1 to 2 appointments on cold calls is what you're going to get after maybe 20 to 30 cold calls, meaning you're actually physically talking to somebody who's making an appointment or really interested in the business, and you're going to get probably about every one of those appointments that you set, you're going to about maybe close 1 client of that. So the numbers are pretty sparse, and you need to understand that. Again, when you're first starting out, it is going to be like horrific. You are going to stumble, you're going to fall, you're going to say some dumb crap like out of your mouth that you're like, what did I just say? And you're going to hate yourself for the first few calls. But guess what? After a couple of hangups, after a couple of people not answering, after a couple of no's, believe it or not, you're going to grow thick skin and you're just going to get pretty used to it. Again, and the name of this game when it comes to acquisition of clients, especially if they're completely cold and don't know who you are, is just going to be consistency, is going to beat intensity every single time. It's how often you're doing it, like the more times you do it and so forth, that's going to get you where you want to go. And again, you're going to be limited in time. So you have to make sure you're consistent every day because you have to make sure that you're consistently doing this. Because no matter what, the second you stop selling, the second your business is going to stop growing. And you need to understand that. All right. Now, evolution of your daily activities. Like the better you're getting at these things, the less you're going to need to cold call because now business will start coming in from referrals. Work your current customers very heavily in ensuring that they're happy and they have other businesses they can refer. Add referrals to each attempt. So, hey, if you know anybody, I know you're not interested in my services today, but if you know of anybody, I'm really starting out, I'm trying to break away. Anybody you know, I would greatly appreciate a referral. I'll even give you $50 for it if you so forth. Whatever you can afford to give out. And if you can't, just ask for it. Begin client success check-ins, making sure your clients are happy with your current services and so forth, and start developing strategic partnerships. If all of a sudden you get friends with a CPA or you're join this BNI group and you have a CPA and you start befriending him, CPAs, most incredible people to know when you're first starting out in any marketing business, because those guys know every single business owner because every business owner needs taxes and the CPAs are your key to the kingdom. So making sure that you're making friends with CPAs, any kind of loan officers or people that are doing any kind of business loans, because those are the guys that are going to help you get business in marketing. Dropping a couple cards with them, doing a couple favors, buying them a couple lunches, you'll be surprised how far that goes. But start building those strategic partnerships that are going to get you the business that you actually need, right? Next is, I want to make sure I give you access to like a 30-day free trial. You don't have to get this. I'm not asking for anything here. I want to give you, again, the best head start. If somebody gave me a 30-day free trial to a software that's going to answer half of these things and help me get my first clients, I would have taken it up immediately. But back then, there were no free trials. I think the most free trial I've ever got was 7 days with Active Campaign, and that was about it. And 7 days, I couldn't do jack. With 30 days, that gives me a lot more time. Again, you can test all these features at no risk. You could start building a business. And when you become an affiliate, you get a free course. The free course walks you through setting up the whole entire account. More importantly, it gives you a template that you can actually sell to your clients to help streamline all of this. Again, you don't have to take the affiliate offer. You don't have to do any of this. You can find your own offer. My goal here altogether is for you to break away and start doing something to get you out there and going, right? Now, the one thing that I want you to do when it's ready to start is, remember, you need to pick one service. You need to get at least one client, And all you need to do right now is get at least 1 hour a day that you're solely focused to growing your business and going out there and getting clients. So honestly, I hope this completely helps you getting out there and doing what you need to do. 25 years in corporate America, and the one thing that it taught me, most valuable lesson of all time, is no one will build the life that you want other than you. So go out there and build the life that you want. Hopefully this kind of gave you a little bit of guideline. Look below for the free checklist. Don't need to give me your email. Don't need to give me anything. I just want you to go out there and succeed. And more importantly, if you need the free trial, use the free trial because it's going to give you 30 days. And if you decide to keep it, awesome. Then that gives me an affiliate commission and a whole bunch of other bonuses that you can get that I think is going to really truly help you. If not, cool. Go out there and find the software that you want. But more importantly, take action, have a plan in place now that you have a realistic expectation of what to expect. All right. And I'll see you on the next one.